What up brothers, it's Clip King returning. Welcome back to my channel for another new review. Today I'll be reviewing the Joker Batman impersonator version by Hot Toys. I'll start off by saying I can't remember a figure as universally panned as this one has been. I don't understand some of the flack that it's getting, because if it's made up of the sum of its parts it should review really well, but also I think it's the mentality behind what the figure represents that some of the people are hating. Is it a figure that people are clamouring for? Probably not, but will the people who do buy it love it? Possibly so. So I'm going to crack on into the review, make my thoughts clear. I'm going to review it fairly, and then at the end I'm going to do a sum up and tell you my total thoughts, where I stand on the figure. But before I go any further, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Steve Sky. Simply because a lot of you guys, particularly my Facebook friends, will say a lot of times I'll post any interest in a certain figure. That's because I get offered most figures that get released from Hong Kong. If the guy that I buy from has one spare, he'll let me know. If it's something I've asked for before time, he'll say when it's in stock. So it is a case that I can always get something. Now the reason I ask for interest is because some figures I'll buy without thinking twice. So you're thinking your armoured Batman, your regular Batman, your Nightmare Batman, simply because I think there's a massive market for it. I could buy it. If I love it, I can keep it. If I don't, or it don't make sense to me to keep a certain version, then I know it will sell easy. Then there's certain figures that I think I'd definitely love to review it, but I definitely don't want to keep it. Then I've got to consider the price I've been offered it at. Can I make that money back once reviewed? And then there's certain figures like this one where I get a price and I think it's too high for me. I can't even risk buying it because I don't want to get stuck with it once it's here. It's definitely not a figure that I would keep in the collection. And I'm not sure that there's enough interest to sell it once it gets here. Now this was an high priced figure to say there were no or not a lot of interest in it. So basically I posted up, is there any interest? Steve Sky got in touch with me and said, I'm interested in that figure. I know a lot of people don't love it, but I particularly like it. If you can still get one and your prices are better than eBay, which they normally are regardless what people will tell you, then I will buy it off you once reviewed. So that is what happened, and that is why I post on Facebook. So bear that in mind, because since I sold some of the Batman figures, I've got a bit of a reputation for flipping and scalping and so on. It's total bullshit, to be honest. Apart from one figure, they all sold for under eBay value. So if people tell you that, it's either because they don't like me or they support a different seller who I don't use anymore, or for whatever reason. But like I say, I sleep soundly knowing I ain't ever ripped anybody off. So anyway, let's crack onto the review. I'm going to break it down into all the categories. You're going to get the honest scores, taking into account as well that I have got the regular Batman version, which this is basically the stock version of this. This is just a repainted version. So I will compare them in certain categories, but I'm going to give it a fair score and then, like I said, give you my total thoughts on the figure. But like I said, massive thank you to Steve Sky. So let's talk about the packaging. First thing you notice, it does come with a much sought after Hot Toys exclusive sticker. On this figure I will take it with a pinch of salt, because I don't think it's sort of wanted or clamoured for enough to be considered an exclusive. I think there will be, I don't know, over the next few months I think these will be readily available and the price will slowly depreciate, although I do feel that over time it might become an acquired taste and a little bit of a, I don't know, not a cult classic, I don't want to say that, but there's certain figures that you don't understand, the price shoots up, and I'm thinking something like a Samurai Predator, and you criticise it and say, well, it don't come from a source material that I recognise, yet the price stays high on it. It could become like that. I think only die-hard Batman and Joker fans will really be interested in it to start with, but I just get that feeling that it's going to be one of them figures people pass on and then regret it in about a year or two's time. But anyway, like I said, take the sticker with a pinch of salt. Moving down to the graphics that are done in the sort of shiny gold. You see the title of the figure is the Joker, the Batman Imposter version. And although it says on top it's the Suicide Squad, again, I would take that with a pinch of salt as well, because I don't think this figure features in the movie, if I understand it correctly. All in all, the artwork I do really like. I do like the sort of the smiling tattoo that appears on the box, the skulls with the sort of jester hats attached, which is pretty much what makes up all the artwork. the sort of laughter, ha ha ha, on it, and like I said, the transfer from the purples to greens does look really nice in hand. I particularly like when you remove the slip cover and you see the internal box. The artwork on that is really eye-catching. I do like the theme of it and how it sort of represents a playing card. So if you think you had a large card, there would normally be the number and the suit, but in this case it says Joker, and then upside down it says Batman, and then it's like all been graffitied. It's got the smile, and again the red splash of haha, and so on and so forth. Really looks good. At the top, like a tattoo design of I'm watching, which looks good. Also, another thing that I like about the box is the cutaway on the front cover. It lets you see through the window panel, although when the figure's not inside the box there isn't really a lot to see, but it still looks pretty cool. I'm not going to push the score up, I'm just going to give it a standard 3 out of a possible 5 because it is basic materials, although the artwork is eye-catching. Right, moving on to facial likeness. Now this category is a bitch to score, simply because I don't know where I stand with it. Very much like when I do a Gangster's Kingdom review and I'm trying to do likeness, although in that case I can sort of say, well, it's aimed at this actor, a cartoon version of this actor. This one, I don't know what it's aimed at. Is it supposed to be Jared Leto in the Batman mask? Because if that's the case, it don't look nothing like him. I know it's Affleck's eyes because I've got the regular version of Batman, so I know that's just a reworking of the eye section. The mouth section is totally new, and although it does look awesome, again, I don't know what it's supposed to be. So for accuracy, I really can't give an honest opinion. So I then go to plan B and say, is the work that they've done good? This cowl were good on the original version, is it still good? Have they reworked it enough and made it different enough? Definitely yes. So let's talk about it and then I'll find out where we stand. First, I'm going to talk about the mouth plate. Now, as you can see, it is clearly a new mouth sculpt, and you see the teeth have the silver grill. Now, the teeth work and the grill work is stunning. In hand, you really see the detail, the intricate paintwork, and it does look astounding. So that is really good. The colour of the lipstick and the sort of maniacal smile, it's not a flat out smile, and when you combine it with the eyes, it doesn't even look like he's laughing. It's more a sarcastic grin, so to speak. So yeah, the lip work is really good. The smeared lipstick that you can see, I'm trying to get good lighting but get nice and close, so bear with me. I might have to do a bit of zoom work, which I don't really like to do mid-shot. The pores in the skin again with the smeared on white makeup, again, looks stunning, really well done. Now this is going to be a constant theme with this figure. Everything is done brilliantly, but does it give an overall great look? And that's what we're trying to work out. But like I said, the faceplate alone is really good. Obviously, because it's the same scowl, the other faceplates will fit, and to prove, now it looks like Affleck again in the green cowl. So that is why you know it's the Affleck eyes, because it just looks right now. So go back to the original mouth plate. So that is great work. Other things I've noticed is the sort of transfer work or tattoo work onto the cowl. So here we see the letter J under the left eye, which I think in gang terms symbolises that you've killed somebody. I think they put a teardrop under one of their eyes in Bloods and Crips land. Could be wrong with that, I've never been there, but I think that's what it represents. On this side you see the star on the temple, and then tipping the cap to the new Joker design, it has the damaged on the forehead. All the paintwork and even the green for the cowl is really clean looking. It's awesomely done. They have sort of put a lot of love into the project that they've done. Like I said, it is just a reuse of the cowl that we saw on the regular Batman and the Nightmare Batman. Like I said, there's slight changes. They've tried to sort of justify the price, I think. The playing card symbols up his neck. So bottom you've got the clubs, spades, hearts and diamonds. Working the way around to the back, you see the sort of scribbled on smile, so on the back of the neck, which again is done nicely. And as we move up, you see the all in on the back and the sort of bleeding heart. so to speak. So the head looks good. To score it on likeness, I can't obviously give you a score on accuracy because I don't know who I'm comparing it to. So for that reason, I will say the techniques are amazing. The look is pretty good for what it is, but I know not a lot of people will love it because it doesn't represent Affleck or Jared Leto. It's sort of a mixture in between. So I know I can't give it the top score, so I'm going to go straight down the line and cop out a little bit and tell you the likeness is a 3 and a possible 5. Right, so we'll move on to the outfit. And again, it's a tricky one to score, simply because it's an outfit I've seen before. If you look in the foreground, that's my regular Batman. That is a figure that I recently voted my favourite Hot Toys figure, or if you look at my top 15 videos, this is the figure that made it to number 1, simply because I think Hot Toys took a massive step forward in the development of this body, and a lot of other things about this figure made it pretty much perfect to me. So now, this is what's in my mind. I'm thinking, the new Imposter version, it's basically the same figure. So if I mark it down, I'm basically saying it's not to my taste, therefore it's shit. And I don't want to do that, because I try to stay impartial and do everything as fairly as possible, because I know somewhere down the line somebody will pick me up on my opinions. So again, I've got to try and review it and say, have they done good work, but is it to my taste? Is the paintwork shit? Was it unneeded? I'm trying to cover everything. But for the guys who didn't watch my original Batman review, I would say please check that out in full, because I'm quite proud of that review. But just to quickly go over and show you the figure, it is a beast of a figure. It's a figure I could have sold about 500 times over, which in turn makes it hard to sell because I don't know the true value of it. But I just basically want to show you of the components that make up the suit, and to say the suit is fucking amazing. The muscle work in the upper body is a real treat. So the reason I show that is because in a minute I'm going to move this figure and we're going to look at this version. So let's get involved with this figure. It's going to be a tricky one to score, but I hope my opinion makes sense. So I'll just show you the pose first. I've got his right hand up in front of him because of the smiling transfer. It sort of tips its hat to the photos from the Suicide Squad with Jared Leto, with the hand in front of his face, or the arm in front of his face should I say. Show you the pose, pretty upright still. And then I'm going to tell you, and it'd be no surprise to you at all to know that every single part of this figure is totally reused, repainted, rehashed version of the standard version of Batman. Now, some ways it pisses me off, because I think you're asking us again to pay for the same figure with a slight repaint. But in other ways I look at it and think, yeah, I like how they've done that, and I like that they've done that, and I can understand why they've done that. But from me personally, I've also got to try and not be an hypocrite, because I'm one at worst for criticising Hot Toys for milking lines such as Iron Man. They give you all these different components, they then mix them up, gear a new armour, which I don't even think are that accurate some of the time, regardless what some other reviewers might tell you. You see the Heartbreaker, and then you see the parts reused on another figure. You see the Peacemaker or Peacekeeper, whatever it's fucking called, and then you see parts used on the Red Snapper. And it just pisses me off, that sort of principle of redevelop everything new, because I'm sure Tony Stark didn't use a chest section from One Piece on his armour, so that's why it pisses me off. Again, same thing with the Stormtroopers we see from the original Star Wars films, and now the sort of First Order, is it? We're just seeing slight variants. They'll put a new shoulder pad on or a slightly new paint scheme or whatever, and they ask you to pay for it again. Now that's all well and good if you're buying Hasbro figures or Toy Biz figures, and they're like 10 or 15 quid each. But when you're saying keep buying at £200 plus on every different repaint, then it fucking pisses me off. So like I said, with all that in mind, let's talk about the outfit. We'll start at the boots. As you can see, reused boots from the Batman like I've showed, and from the Nightmare version, but this time they're in the green paint scheme, again with a split just above the ankle, so it maintains good articulation. And then you see the sort of the red paintwork, where it's like he's had red paint on his hands, he's been writing on the outfit, but then it's gone on his boots, same with his gloves. But then you get the sort of card suit motif with the skull, so you get the spade on that boot. And then as you move on to the shin section, the ha 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 in black, and then like as you see again, the sort of red paint mess. On the other boot, slightly different. Again, you get the red drips all over to make it look really messy, but then you get the really nice clean transfer work on the upper foot, moving down to the red stained sort of toe protector. Round the back again, it has the blades, this time painted yellow, which go with the chest symbol, whereas on the Batman they were gold. So again, really nice boot, works really well. It does look menacing and very, I don't know, it's sculpted, but it sort of still represents that thick leather really well. Again, the zip work on the inside, again, looks really good. Moving up, the sort of the Batsuit is in general purple, but then it has the black sections in it. In certain places it's blacker than others. Really nicely worked. Where the original one was sort of grey on black, this is kind of black on purple, and it does give a really cool look. And again, it is an awesome body and an awesome bodysuit on top of it, and even the paintwork is stunning on it. Where you see these little red dots where the paint's dripped, they've actually done it in a technique where it makes it feel like it has actually gone on it, because not only would it sort of sink into the material, you would get that sort of that raised section where the paint had dried on it, and it has got all that, so that is really nicely done. On the left leg it's more obvious. As you can see, it looks like he's been writing ha 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 with his fingers or whatever. That I would assume it's his fingers, because that's why it's all over his right glove. Again, very cleanly done. It's not just a messy second afterthought. They have put a lot of love into this figure for the right reason or wrong reason, but like I said, it is all clean, it is all tidy, and does look really nice. Up onto the belt, again it's the reused belt, whereas on the original version it was gold with black. Now it's like been washed over with a green wash and then painted over with the card suits. So again, we've got the spade, the art, just a cross on the front buckle, and the clubs again with the scratch marks there, which again look really nice, and then the diamond. Again, really nicely done. This time, instead of it being on a black pleather, it's actually on a purple pleather. That's what holds the pouches in place. And then moving up to the upper body, it's the awesome reuse of the Batman upper body. So you get the sort of squidgy feel, the muscle section in the outfit, really well done. Now this time where it differs, you see this paint dry. I'll try and get nice and close, because you will see that it's not just painted into the suit, you can actually feel it on the suit, so it is raised. Same with the Joker across his chest, you get a raised feeling there. The slightly different shape of the symbol, the splatter work, it is all raised onto him, so it does all feel top quality. And I do kind of like the look of the gold chest symbol with the red painting over it. It gives quite a nice look. So like I said, if you keep thinking it's the bat suit, but if the Joker had stolen it and pimped it out himself, how would he make it look? And you've got to say it would be something like this. Down the arms again, the red paint drips do look nice. And then moving down onto this arm guard, again he's got the ha 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 sort of scribbled all over. Again, nice and clean, it's not been tackily done. And then this time the solid gold fins on the back of his forearm. On the other side, like I've shown, it does have the smiling transfer. Again, really clean work. It does look very nice, and I think that gives off a decent look. You know the theme I'm sort of going for with that look. Again, the solid gold fins, and then on the top is clean. I've spoke about the cowl already with the tattoo work or transfer work, whatever you want to call it. It does all look clean. Now, here's what it comes down to. Because the outfit is not shown in a film that I know, it is a reimagining or an imagining by Hot Toys staff. They're saying merge the Batman and Joker, and what do you come up with? This is their imagining of it. Is it to my taste? Not really. The look of the purples and greens, it is Joker-esque, but it's, I don't know, to me, I don't look at it and think, oh, fucking hell, cool as fuck. But I can't lie and tell you that it's not all well done, because it totally is. And anybody who has this figure in hand will probably try and defend this figure by saying the suit, again, is amazing. The cape, just to say, the same mistake with the cape that they made on the other one, slightly wrong material for me. It looks good, but it doesn't fall correctly. This time, as you see, there is sort of cutaway sections, like he's got burn holes in it or it's worn and tattered. So again, in theme with what would the Joker do to a cape if he had one, it would be something like that, I think. So that is the look we've got. So on the outfit, I'd be fucking lying if I marked it down and not give it a top score, because the outfit was outstanding on the first version, as you can see, and most people will totally agree with me and say, yeah, it is, and that is a figure I definitely want because it comes from the film and is probably the best representation of Batman. Again, they've used the same suit with a new colour scheme, which I don't agree with, but the work they've done is undeniable. So for that reason, the outfit is getting a 5 and a possible 5. I will just explain as well, I know the plastic's still under there and inside the boots. That's simply because this is someone else's figure and I don't want to be the one to fuck it up. Rolling on to articulation, and this is where the scoring gets a little bit easier because I basically tell you what it will do and what it won't do, so there's no opinion involved. So you see, sometimes I go for a more extreme pose in this category to show articulation, but simply because this figure's not the most articulated figure in the world, and sometimes it's harder to seat a figure than you would think, simply because the legs don't bend correctly or it won't get into a deep enough crouch. So I'll just show it has sat down onto the Scarface chair. He's got the cape sort of drooped behind him, and I've got quite a nice pose, but not too extreme. So let's talk about the articulation points. The feet, same as the original Batman, are on a ball joint. There is a split just above the foot there, which is well disguised, I will say, and because there is a split, it does let the foot rotate, pivot and swivel, so on and so forth, so that does work really nicely. There is a double bend knee joint, which are really strong knees, will hold a position really well, although the suit will stop it pretty much going into a really tight true type crouch. So it is more down to the suit than it is down to the knee joint, because the knee joint is rock hard. Upper leg, it is quite free moving. The suit does become a little bit tight in the crotch area sometimes, but you find that if you push the suit up and really deep into his crotch, then it will help the articulation, so he will do a little bit further split and a little bit further kick or swing his leg back more. Slight rotation through the waist, although it's not a massive amount, simply because the upper part of the suit is attached to the lower part, so any twisting will put a strain on the material of the suit. I will say the slight difference on this version to the original version, mine does a really good deep forward crunch. This one doesn't seem to, although the back arch is still there, whereas mine will crunch forward tight and go back arch really deep. This one will go backwards but not come forward too much, so I don't know if that's down to the body or if there's a slight difference in where they've positioned the suit. I don't know why that is, so just bear that in mind. The shoulders again move freely, although there is slight limitations due to the tightness of the suit. But there is upper rotation at the upper bicep, a double bend through the elbow, which will go pretty tight but not ultra tight, and then as you come down the forearm to a ball joint on the wrist, so the hand will move pretty freely, although slight restrictions down to the hard sculpt on the forearm section. So again, it's like the joints are there, the articulation is there, but sometimes parts of the outfit or the underbody or whatever, the undersuit is going to restrict you slightly. So don't think it's going to be like a, I don't know, ultra sort of a Wolverine or a Spider-Man type articulation. It's never going to be that. But if you think about it, in the film, Batman were not that articulated anyway. So the nice work is on the cowl because of the nice soft neck. It will let you move his head quite freely, although the more you dip his head forward, this lower section comes down onto the emblem, same as on the original Batman, but it will move back. The thing when you move it back is these sort of, if you look under the cape, where the cape's attached sort of in the front of the neck, the under part of the cowl does become seen sometimes depending where you position the head. So like that, because there are the cape straps, you're going to see this sort of the section of the cowl under there, so it's just a matter of tidying it up. But I do like the work on the cowl, definitely the best cowl and neck work of any Batman, I would say. So yeah, the articulation is pretty good. The limitations do come from the outfit, like I've said, but the body is rock solid underneath, so really good in that sense, but you're not going to get extreme poses constantly. I think on the original Batman I gave it a 4 because I was surprised that it got into the positions I was trying to. This one, down to mainly the fact I don't want to push it too much because again I have sold the figure. I didn't want to go too extreme with it, but I do notice the crunch isn't as good as it is on the original Batman. So for that reason, I'm giving the articulation a 3 from a possible 5. Rolling on to the extras, and then I'm probably going to go straight into value. So as we move down, so we've got the figure in an upright position, very Batman-esque, looking at the diorama style base. I do like the style of the base. It is pretty much a Star Wars style base with a cardboard covering on the top, so it clicks in same the stand that holds a crutch grabber, so to speak. Then at the front it says Suicide Squad, although it doesn't come from that movie. The Joker. Then it says Batman Imposter version. And then the target on the right hand side. Yeah, nice looking stand, and it does go with the backdrop quite well. I've pulled the backdrop out and shown that that's how that works. Now there is a fold in the backdrop, so if you wanted to put it flat, it will go taller than the figure. But what I will say, with the fold in it and the stand on top of that, it will fit inside a DTOF. So that is why I've displayed it like such. Nice work, good graphics on that. So I did want to say that. Moving down to his actual extras and accessories, as you see, slim pickings. Totally reused parts, so the hands are just from the original Batman, although with a different paint scheme. 2 batarangs, both daubed with red paint. They are gold, but daubed with the red paint. Same with the grapple hook, and then as you see, he has a detachable flag that's popped out and says God's only child. Again, themed from the Suicide Squad Joker. Moving across, a couple of left hands that are clean, and then a set of wrist pegs and an instruction manual. Now, this is where I start to fucking lose my mind a little bit. For me to get this figure here to review and sell, I had to sell it for £280. Now, if you want my honest opinion, is this figure worth £280? I would say, is it fuck? Because that same price that I think, in fact, I paid a little bit more, I think, for my original Batman. Now, that was a figure I bought and now I'm going to keep. I didn't like paying that amount for that, but I thought, well, it is the Batman to have. This isn't the Batman to have. In fact, it's probably well downscale or all Batman to have, but it's still coming out with a £280 fucking price tag, or that is what it's going to cost for me to get it and then put the shipping on from me to them. That is what I've done, which brings it to £280. I hate having to ask for that price, but other than that, I'm buying some fucker else's figures for them. So that is why I've had to sell it for that. Like I said, the honest truth is, it's not worth it. I know the pound's fucking weak at the moment and so on and so forth, but they keep churning these figures out and this repainted version. Like I said, some will want it and some will love it. I think if Steve's a massive Batman and Joker fan, when he gets it, he's going to put it in his collection, he's going to check it out for the first 2 months like we all do, and then he's going to forget about it until the sort of fad of this figure comes back round or the price starts going up. That's pretty much how it works, isn't it? So that's why I don't know. And like I'm talking about the value and the accessories, it's pretty much an afterthought with the stuff he gets, because the stuff for my Batman, bear with me, that's my Batman there, and I got my bag of accessories out because I wanted one of the faceplates. Now you can see in there, it's got the cowl, the sniper rifle, all his weapons, the branding iron, hands, everything. It's got a lot more stuff. And that were a Batman that was sought after. This is on a Batman that nobody really gives 2 fucks about. So that's why it pisses me off that they didn't give it more. They could have even given you 2 more faceplates. They could have given you the eyes like they did with the other Batman. It wouldn't have took too much doing, I'm sure. But it's pretty much like, well, this Batman line's popular. Fucking chrome version sold for a shitload. Regular version has, armoured version has, nightmare version has. We'll crank another one out, slightly repaint it, call it a reimagining, and put another massive price tag on. And that is where I feel a little bit let down. I don't want to give all my thoughts away, but like I said, that is why I'm sort of fucking slagging it off at this point. To score the extras and accessories, I scored it like this. I give it a point for the stand and backdrop, a point for the hands, and a point for the weapons, although there's not many. So it's got 3 for extras and accessories. Value wise, like I said, I've just told you what I've had to pay for it and how much I've had to sell it for to cover my money, so you've got a clue on what the figure is. And I'll be honest, at the point when I bought this and sold it, Steve told me that the cheapest one on eBay were 320 quid, so I've actually saved him 40 quid, which at 320 I'd say fucking avoid it like the fucking plague. So yeah, the value, Again, a funny one. It's not worth what it's sold for, but the fact of the matter is, I've bought it for fucking 267. I've put the £13 shipping on to get it to somebody, and that's took it to the 280 that somebody's actually bought it off me for. So the value is terrible, but the work on the figure is good. So for that reason, I'm going to give the value a 2, and I kind of fucking think I should have given it a 1, but that is what I want to do. So to sum up, the figure's got 19 out of a possible 30, which is kind of below average score for these figures, but like I said, it were an hard one to score. Now you're probably all thinking, Clip, don't sugarcoat it, because we come to your channel not because you've got the best lighting or because you fucking got the best collection or any other reason. We come to you because you're honest where some others aren't. So what are your honest thoughts on this figure? This is my thoughts, and I'll try and make it clear, and I hope I don't upset too many people. My thoughts are this. I used to view collecting with a little bit of a entitlist attitude, a little bit like some of the custom collectors do. They think that everything that gets produced is for them, for just them, so to speak. So I was the first one to say, they're fucking wasting time making this other Iron Man stuff, and they could be making stuff I want. Where's my Rocky? Where's my Rambo? So that is how I looked at it, and every fucking Iron Man figure that come out, or every new armour, I used to be fucking sick of this. Same with Stormtroopers, same with other things that we keep seeing, rehashed, remade, redone. Predator, slightly new armour, buy it again. This fucking ancient new armour, buy it again. This one, its mask don't come off, buy it again. And I used to think, they're fucking pissing me off. They know what I want, yet they're not doing what I want. And that is how I used to view it. And that is how I would have viewed this. Now, that isn't the fucking key point that really fucks me off with this repaint work. Like I said, I'm not upset about the body, because the body is fucking awesome. I'm not upset about the outfit, because it's an awesome outfit, painted fucking excellently. I'm not even that pissed off. The face sculpt, I don't even know who I'm comparing it to. The reason I'm so fucking pissed off with this figure is the fact that this version of Batman is on waitlist on Sideshow. Sideshow are Hot Toys' main distributor. Now there's people who want this figure, and I know for a fact, because when I said I'm going to sell all my collection, this was the figure that I got most offers on. Up to £360 I got offered on that, but I thought, well, if I paid £300 for it myself, why would I only want to sell it to make 60 quid when I'll never ever be able to buy this figure again with the tech cowl and with a sniper rifle? So I thought, I don't know the value of the figure, because I can't tell somebody it's worth £400, although I won't be able to buy one myself for £400, if that makes sense to you. So that is what fucks me off mainly with that figure. The fact that they've took the parts where they could have carried on making this, keeping it affordable and letting 10,000 people have that figure. What they aren't, they brought the parts back that weren't used, repainted it, fucking put another price tag on it and sold it out. Now nobody would have moaned if they'd come back and said, right, we showed you pre-order shots for this Imposter version, but we're going to call that back. What we're going to do is we're going to use all parts that we've got moulded and cut and produced and painted. We're going to go back, we're going to make some more regular Batmans, and that Sideshow waitlist will clear it. That's what fucks me off more than all, because there's a clamour for that figure. Nobody gives a fuck really about that figure, yet they've still gone and produced it. So basically, the thing that I hate most about this figure is the fact that Hot Toys has said, fuck you, you'll buy what we make, and if you don't, you can fucking go on a waitlist somewhere, or you can go to eBay, get your fucking pants pulled down to get the version that you actually want. That is what I hate most about this figure. So I hope that clears it up. Is it fucking shit? No, it's not shit. It's more what it represents that pisses me off. But like I said, I have scored it fairly. I hope you've enjoyed that review. Please leave your comments, because I think a lot of you might agree with me. But at least I have bought the figure to show you, give you my thoughts, but I always intended to sell it on. So thank you to Steve Sky for buying it. I hope you do like the figure when you got it, because you obviously decided that it was a figure you were interested in. Like I said, don't let my critique of it sort of weigh on you, because it is a good figure. But Hot Toys, pull your fucking socks up, start producing enough of the figures we want, bring the prices down, stop trying to fucking milk us dry on these versions of Stormtroopers and Iron Mans and fucking now Batmans and Jokers, to the point you can't even make no new parts to sell us. You're just using reused parts, repainting them and fucking selling them as again for nearly 300 quid. So fucking wise up, you dicks. But for now, I'm out of here.